only getting tougher. So people are trying to survive. There's nothing better than hunger to wipe common sense away. So people don't care. Just you look better than me. In fact, we can look the same, but just smile. You're better off. You know? So that's the reality. And then you look at our leaders. Our leaders make you feel the most entitled. I mean, after all, we don't got no money, but you got a million to give Afghanistan. Hey, how about I deserve $1 million too? I mean, what makes Afghanistan better than me? So in truth, the thing itself is just propagating. It's like a snowball. And it has gotten bigger and bigger and over the years. Because begging didn't used to be this blatant. I was driving into one of probably the most popular hotels in Lagos. The lady who was at the gate, who was supposed to be checking my boots,
and making sure
she stood there and said, "Oh, fine, auntie, I don't need to check your boots. Just so such."
She's not sure if you have a bomb there to just blast the entire place.
And
so that's the reality we find ourselves in. Now, when we come to the question, for me, of what is it costing us, it's costing us a lot. And that video says it all.
Yes.
You are not a tree. You are only bonded to her by blood and by DNA.
Absolutely.
If she wasn't an Idibia, if she was anybody else,
would you come out of social media?
Are you there? If you don't like the situation, you move. I always say, if you are going to go and marry a wife, people will come for me. If you're going to go and marry, you better be able to afford it. So you now come on social media and say you have a wife, you've not paid dowry.
People.
Who? Whose business is it?
No, he's trying to yes, to garner sympathy so that people will see from his perspective.
Let me hear Noma's thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on this entitlement mindset?
It's like Uti rightly said, it's a snowball. I think it has even become an avalanche.
Correct.
Like it is so huge and it's going to destroy Nigerians if we continue with this trajectory. It's going to destroy Nigerians because it's not allowing space for innovation. And we are a resourceful people. We are people with so much talent. But because the one person, for example, let me take you, using a public restaurant, restroom.
Oh, yeah.
And then the person who is supposed to ensure that there's tissue and that the toilets are cleaned is there telling you, oh, auntie, anything. How about you do your job? And do it diligently.
That one is annoying, Norma.
The one who is
you're supposed to give, there's supposed to be tissue there. Then she now does
then
it.
She holds it and then she removes it and gives
favor.
you as if she's doing you a favor. I don't understand. Where is the dignity of labor?
So
you no longer have people who are proudly doing what they ought to do. You now have people who have this mentality that says, you owe me and I don't owe you.
I'm doing it for you.
And there's only so far that you can go with that mentality, because guess what? It's going to rob you of opportunities. If somebody wanted to just out of the way you did your job, you were just committed and just decided, oh, to gift you, they would automatically change their minds. I was reminded very quickly about my, I was having a conversation with someone and she was talking with a cleaner. And this cleaner was so diligently doing his job. He doesn't, he just comes in, he does his job, and he goes away. And then one day, she meets this cleaner, says, oh, they were having a conversation. And he says, oh, guess what, auntie? I have just gotten admission into the university. And it was like, oh, you are even thinking that far. You know what?
I will pay your
I'm going to support you in your school fees. Just you let me, once you're going, let me know, send me your account details.
Yeah.
So the bigger opportunities that come up, you are robbed because of 10 naira or 100 naira that can only satisfy an immediate need now.
Yeah.
When you have more permanent solutions that could have been solved or that could have been created.
Let's.
So it's robbing us of a lot as
actually.
Nigerians.
Let's take a break. I'd like to open our phone lines early today. We'll come back. We'll open the phone lines. Stay with us. All right, so if you just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we're discussing what the entitlement mindset is costing us as Nigerians. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-8663. You can also tweet to us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag #WadeShow. All right, so our phone line is now open to call us. The number is 07025007749. Remember the rules. Turn off the volume of your television set so we can hear ourselves clearly. All right, so before we went on a break, I like the direction that everybody's going with the conversation, but I'd like to take it back just a bit. Let me pedal it back. Our new English that we learned this week. You know, yes, the way the world is right now, especially the way Nigeria is right now, everybody seems to feel entitled. And that's why things are almost like going south. I can tell you for free that the people that went to loot, remember when the NSAS thing happened and the heat of it, that estates were so scared, they started donating money to give to the miscreants around, because they felt that if we do not feed these people feel
they'll come for us.
Yes. This is what's it called, clearly the problem of our society today.
Yeah.
We have raised a generation, an entire breed of what's it called, people that feel like because I am not successful, you are responsible for my downfall or whatever. So
if
you
not,
should
we
be
all,
yes. If not, we all go down together. How do we move from here, right? Because what is costing us, we can't even quantify it.
So
except if something like that happens again, we will now see the gravity of where this can happen.
You don't even want to see it.
Honestly.
So the fact is, I had a conversation one day at a petrol station. It was during the fuel scarcity.
Yeah.
And the
you know what, hold that call. Let me just quickly take our first caller for today. Franklin, I believe, from Lagos. Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
Okay, yeah. What I want to say concerning is Nigerians having this notion of entitlement has more to do with the fact that the economy itself has torpedoed so much so that the so-called take-home pay can no longer take people home. Talking from the housemaid, talking about the gate man, even the teller at the counter, everybody always look forward to you giving them something. So what I want to say is that this organization concerned can just come up with some rules, that they will ensure that such modus operandi on the part of those people no longer hold sway. There should be some kind of punitive measure, because sometimes it can be very embarrassing, honestly. Sometimes when you don't feel like, just because, you just want to go out of your way, you end up, giving out some and all that. I was at the airport the other day, the guy trying to give me tissue, and even the tissue, he was like holding it back, expecting me to give him something and all that. I was like, what is all this? So it has become like an epidemic,
it's a plague.
so to speak. It's everywhere, in all facets of our life. So I think the organization concerned, the employers, should do everything within their ambit to curb such. Once they know that there are punitive measures, once we misbehave and such, then many of them, I'm sure, they will renege their decisions on doing that.
All right, thank you so much. So, what are you?
I mean, it's endemic. And just to say to what Frank said, there are rules. Most businesses have policies against it. But again, culturally, it's entrenched. How many people, I guess, are you going to sack? You keep sacking people, the next set are going to come. The very key point that he made there is the money is not enough, so they're going to find a way. But anyway, the people at the petrol station, all these area boys and all, immediately, of course, they blocked the entrance to the petrol station. So now you're having to settle them to even try to get into the petrol station. And when it started to get a bit rowdy, had to quickly, in those times, you have to think on your feet to quickly what can I give you boys? Let's buy beer. And they're telling you, like, you know, we all just are here. We think that we're secure. We think that we're safe. When you think about all the so-called highbrow neighborhoods, just not over the fence, just right next door, the indigents are still here. And they're watching you drive past them every day in your big cars and all of that. And because there's a lack of education, there's a lack of exposure, the person is not interested in whether you worked hard to get it. Everybody's a thief.
As far as they're concerned.
So, particularly the middle class, sitting on a powder keg because you're closest to it.
Yes.
And these people don't care, you know, that you've struggled how many years to work
They don't care.
and buy your
just
car.
feel entitled to your
They
money.
they just look at it and go, why is this person better than me? And that entitlement, you know, it's multiple factors because look at what happened at the stadium. There was no reason to vandalize the stadium.
There was no reason.
But I felt that I was aggrieved somehow by the fact that we did not go to qualify for the World Cup. So all of these things, when you boil it down to fundamental issues, education.
Let me take Loma from Abia State, then I'll come back.
Absolutely.
Totally. 100%.
Are you there? You're live.
Yeah, I'm live.
Thank you for calling.
Good evening, my beautiful sister here.
Thank you.
Roman from Adelaide.
Thank you for calling, Loma.
See, let me just tell you what is happening now. This time around, due to the way the ruling class have treated the low-level class, nobody will do anything again this time around. You must give something. Even if your car maybe got stuck somewhere in the world, before you put it on position, because they fail to give us a sense of direction. They fail to give employment, to have opportunity to be at the heads of their pay. You fail to create employment. No, allow the youth to move around to become something else. We then we have people that deal with it. When you see young youth getting into drugs, doing all kinds of things, there's no way to walk in. But you will arrest somebody today, tomorrow you will release that person, and that person will get into that family. So people will always, like now, we are getting into election time. Before you now shout, I will vote for you. They will tell you, give me money, give me money. Because you go to check a new work there by making sure you do not give those basic amenities for them, do things that will make them not. So that is what I think is self-development. No self-development of these people. Making them know you can do this and be at the top in your life.
Thank you, Loma.
Every area of this country to become people becoming citizens. So it is a ruling class who are the problem of what are happening today.
Absolutely. So I hear you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So
this is going on now.
thank you so much. So from what I hear him say about, you know, the system we've created, right? People are not doing their jobs. They're supposed to do their jobs. Because ideally, if you create an environment where people feel like I can just earn a decent living, they will not feel entitled. And I somewhat agree with him because, again, because I was going to ask, what is the root cause of this entitlement mentality? Why is it on the rise? Yes, you've mentioned one, education. So the system breeds entitlement. You have not created a proper system, an enabling environment. So the person just feels like, okay, every 4 years, just come hand me out. Hand me my own share. Let me collect my own. If you hear the language of the electorate during political rallies and they'll say, they will be speaking, please help me with the Yoruba language. They'll go, I want to go and collect my own, because you don't know when next you are seeing them. Exactly. So this is the system that we have created. But I don't think we have really quantified, what is it, we should not go there. But if we understood the cost for what this entitlement mentality is costing us as a people, as a country, as Nigerians, do you think we'll continue to tolerate and encourage it?
Yeah, but what are you going to give to stop it? And because everything that we glorify, breeds this mentality. You have the same data you use on Facebook to learn Yahoo. It's the same data you can use to learn data analysis and get a job.
Yes.
But
you would rather go that way.
You would go that way
because
because
and be begging us.
It's easier route.
When people beg me on Instagram,
it
irritates the heck out
I
of
have
me.
a friend whose brother was a teacher who quit being a teacher to go and do Yahoo Boy. So, fundamentally, there's a problem with how we're wired because our values are wrong. So your values alone will breed entitlement. And then people are angry.
See, let me get to the root cause of where this is coming from in education. All right? I will come back again. In fact, I think education is everything. It's not about the system anymore. It's all the education of Nigerians have been warped from God knows when, and it has cascaded to what we have today. I was wondering why is it like this? But in the course of me interacting with children, in the course of me interacting with them from preteen to higher level, I got to understand that when you're trying to tell them, okay, you need to read and pass and learn certain things. It's not just about you reading and passing. It's about you knowing and having a functional skill in the society. And they go like, oh, we just need to read and pass for now. They don't even have a sense of direction of where they're going to or where they're coming from. And when these kids get out of school, secondary school, let's take them from secondary school, for example, how have they been trained? How have they been educated? What did they imbibe when they were in these schools? And you now get to understand one crucial thing is that in the course of you trying to tell them, read, study, and pass so that you get through this level, and that will take you to the next level, they fail. Now, when they fail, it now keeps culminating. Then you now see individuals who are supposed to be out of school, who are supposed to be in university, still looking for WAEC or JAM, whatever papers.
It's a ripple effect.
So it's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Now, this is what now leads to individuals feeling that
you
do not have a way out.
Let me hear.
I just wanted to.
So it's our education system.
I wanted to piggyback back off what Isi was saying about education. And I remembered when we were growing up, and there were people who had issues with JAMB and all of that. You would write JAMB until you got admission into school.
Yes.
But they didn't make you entitled. But I would take it from the place of parenting that we have in today's world.
Totally.
In Nigeria, we do not have intentional parents, people who are even being the example for their children, let alone teaching them the right thing to do. That had cascaded over time because it had been watered down over time due to, I think it was Uti that mentioned that, not wanting the values have eroded, people not wanting their wards or their children to suffer what they have been through, and then they are now watering down the values, and now we have a breed of younglings who think that everything has to come to them. And we need to go back. We keep mentioning parenting and we brush it off. But that is very fundamental with the generation that we're breeding today. Of course, government also has a role. I don't want to sound like a broken record. But if our government does not pay attention to what is needed to guide its citizens in the direction of progress and success, it's only a matter of time.
So I was going to ask this question.
The results are going to come out.
When they talk about fishing, right? When they say teaching
how to fish. Instead of giving me
the
fish.
The fish. We have seen time and time and again that even in this case, because I want to go back now to why we even discussed this in the first place. The Annie herself and the Two-Face, they are very, very guilty of the mindset that they have
created.
No, not really created. They might not have been the one that created it, but they encouraged it over the years in the life of that young man. So you cannot now blame him.
How?
Yeah. Because you
They
see,
try to assist him.
you see,
I'm not trying to assist.
I do not believe in that philosophy of always giving people money. If you come to me for money, I will ask you, what can you do? Do you understand? Because even that is how my own children, I'm raising them. I do not believe to give you money. What can you do? How can you earn the money? You get my point?
Yeah.
So I want to believe that if over the years, even if it was the managerial work that was offered, and you said, okay, you know what, for you to be able to do this thing with excellence, there are some courses that you need to take,
Go and
some
send
trainings
them
that
for
you need to
training.
take.
Education.
Right, now let's finish. Let me finish.
Head,
There are
how
some,
do you
Wait,
hold on,
now.
hold on. Let me finish.
Wait.
There are some trainings and there are some courses you need to take to go and upgrade yourself. Because if you do not do X, Y, Z, I will not give you a dime.
Does the
From the
person
word
want-
go,
Does the person
he would
want to-
have brushed up. He would have sat up
Does the
his
person,
butt.
the question being also that does the person want
You don't. It's not about what you
Why?
want. It's not.
grow?
So Uti,
Wow,
it's
why
not about what
are
you
you
want.
in
It is about
utopia?
from the day one. Set the standard.
No.
It's either you go and do this to upgrade yourself, or I do not give you a dime. If they were not giving him a dime from day one, this will not have landed to what
Let me tell you what will
he's
happen.
bearing now.
Let me tell you what will happen. Since you want to live in utopia, let me bring you back to
To
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
He said he was working for her.
Yeah.
She will pay whenever she wants to pay. We don't have enough information from this video.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But let me tell you how it happens. Because I have them in my family. Let's not
Well.
pretend like we're too posh to have them.
Yes.
We have them in our family. Let me tell you.
Good thing.
I know how much money I have given people to start businesses.
And they
they
fail.
Because I
and
know
do it.
that I don't want to keep feeding you. What can I give you today to empower you to start a business? Give it 2 months.
It's down the
They're
drain.
back. Now, when you talk about learning is not about
they
going
want
to
to
course. First, do you want to learn? There are
A
so
lot of
many
them,
people
yeah.
who think that because I am connected to you by blood, you owe
Owe
me.
me.
Does he even look like somebody that is capable enough for her to hire him? For starters, because
forget he said
they
he
came
was
from the
into
same
drugs
stock,
as well.
by the way. They came from the same stock. Whether you say she ended up marrying Lucky or whatever, she's built herself.
Life.
Now you're angry. You think that she owes you something because you came into the world through the same parents. She doesn't owe you a thing. These are the particular ones that no matter what you give them, they
will
think you
never
haven't
be
done enough.
satisfied.
They will never be satisfied because they think you have more. And whatever you have worked hard
In
for,
fact, what
they are
he did
entitled to
because
it.
he said
The
that
20,000 she was
20,000
given to him.
that he was
did
so
she pluck
given.
it from the sky?
I will still maintain my stance that you see this kind of thing, when you already know the kind of people you have that you're dealing with, set the foundation straight from the word
Until
go.
there's no certain
It's not about, it's
foundation.
not this thing, you set
It doesn't
straight
work.
from the word
In
go.
so
It
many
You see, that kind of
cases,
person that you
Uwa.
go and give money to for business, you don't give somebody money for business if the person is not empowered to run a business, you understand, that would eventually not fail. There are principles to success, right? How much do the people know about the success of running a business? That's my point. So if I
Unfortunately.
empower you with the knowledge gap, because what we are, all this grammar that
Whilst
we're
you are
speaking,
empowering
there's a
them with
knowledge
knowledge,
gap here.
are they not going to
Well,
eat?
unfortunately, some people,
No, when
There is a
some people
saying.
do not want to be
learn.
helped.
So you are even talking about to not want to. Before you are empowering them to learn, aren't you going to feed them? Are they going to eat?
Funny enough, I had a situation that happened when we were growing up. We had two uncles who were sent to school on the same day. One went to school, the other took
The
his
highway.
school fees to Suya Sports.
Correct guy.
Come on.
And both of them, of
That's why you
course.
shouldn't have given him school fees. You should have got to pay the school fees yourself.
No, but even when you pay this, do you know how many of them you pay school fees for never make it to school? Look,
some, they don't
let's
just
first
go
of all agree that you have to take responsibility.
for yourself.
This person you
Well,
see in
let me
this video
say, I'm just
has
trying-
refused to take
I'm just trying
responsibility.
to say that the guy's foundation is already
Exactly.
course.
But you refuse, when you don't
But
take
at some point,
responsibility,
you must be able to
you
take
came from the same
responsibility.
stock. Let's not even talk of people that were raised differently. You came from the same family. When you see your sister,
It's
if you had
hopefully-
the right, you will be, look, I
Even
will
with the kind of people
motivated around
her,
you.
You should have been successful.
Exactly.
But let's take comments. You know?
Okay, I have this one from Bobby Kennedy Jalingo in Taraba State. He says, good evening, ladies. That guy should just shut up and go do something for his life. Annie does not have to do everything for him. I know the family. We stay together at Jakande Estate, Lekki. Okay. The guy has been on drugs way back. Even Two-Face had to try to fix him up during his Plantation Boys time before he went solo. It's a shame that he's coming online to disgrace his family. What entitlement does is that he wants what entitlement does he want from his junior sister? God bless you, ladies. Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah,
Thank
quickly.
you. So this says, good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying Ways. I really don't understand Wisdom Macaulay, the elder brother of Annie Macaulay Idibia. If he has any beef or misunderstanding with his sister, why can't they settle it within the family? He did not do well at all to come out and whitewash his sister in public. It is very wrong. If he is married, he should go look for a job or a good business and fend for the family. At his age, he should be independent and nothing more. He should be shameless for now. Sister Uti, Sister Norma, you are welcome back. Sister Uti, happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Daniel.
May God bless you with beautiful gift, with a beautiful gift that you so much deserve, and give you long life and sound health. My name is Daniel Ilo Ways, a regular fan.
So mine is from Ade. It says, good evening, ladies. Right from the 80s to date, the system of governance has been a paddy business. Education and handiwork engagement will solve the problems. If youth has been engaged with skillful activities, will make them happier to grow and fend for themselves, and adds, we are all looking good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I was going to say that, honestly speaking, for me, it's still the knowledge gap that is the biggest problem. That's why we have this high level of entitlement mindset. So if we want to really solve the problem, even us, it might be painful, but do not hand over somebody money for business that the person is not empowered to run. Do not hand over somebody, money to go and do something that the person does not have the skill to do. So that's my point. I'm not saying that. So whilst we are at that, you were asking how would they feed. It is okay to give them feeding allowances or food or
Didn't
something.
you complain about the
Now
20,000?
now you're moving to go
You complain about the 20,000?
I'm not talking about goalpost. So you can decide to say, you know what, I'm not even going to give you the money physically. You need provisions in your house, I will buy you provisions. You need your house rent, I'll buy, but you must finish that course and get something tangible. See, until we are
People
tough,
need to
this
take
thing,
responsibility.
where we are
That
now,
is
if
the
we do not
word.
show
For their lives.
Yes.
where we are now, if we do not show tough love, we will not move away from
Tough
where we
love
are.
also means you allowing them to take responsibility.
Yeah, we throw them in the
I don't
deep
like
end
the
of
fact
pool.
that you're using
The
education and training as. How many graduates are working at that, slinging their degrees with no job?
Okay, before we go, thank you, Norma.
I mean,
do ensure you follow us on Instagram, Salvation. We have run out of time. Interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all our engagements on social media. Like, share, invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. They're shouting in my ear, this time. All right, so if you missed today's quote, it is very short and simple. Value, money flows in the direction of value. It's as simple as that. So if you really want to be empowered, you want to be financially empowered or financially free, you have to give value to get money in return. We'll see you guys live tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
what we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Today on the breakfast, stakeholders ask Lagos State government to halt the April 1 planned reopening of tolling of the Lekki-Ikoyi link bridge by the Lekki Concession Company as government urges residents to show understanding.
In the wake of Nigeria's failure to qualify for the World Cup in Qatar, fans asked NFF President Amaju Pinnick to resign amid coach Ersin Eguavo's stepping down. What's next for the NFF?
And we will be analyzing all of the biggest stories of major dailies across the country with an analyst. Good morning to you in Lagos, Abuja, Nigeria, Africa, all over the world, wherever you're watching us from. This is The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. I am Justin Akadonye.
And I am Messi Boko. A beautiful morning. It feels really great to be back on your screen.
Yes, my favorite day of the week. It's Friday and we are thanking God. Messi, like I always ask you every Friday, what are you doing for the weekend?
Are you sure
you
you
better
want to
start
hear?
talking.
No, are you sure
You
you
had
want to hear?
better start talking.
No,
With
basically,
all of this fine makeup, what are you doing after the show?
get a lot of rest. Sleep. Get more sleep and sleep.
Okay,
Basically.
it's good. Yeah, you want to have your beauty sleep so you can come and looking more beautiful by Monday and all.
You understand?
That's a good plan.
So you understand already?
I do. Unfortunately, men can't have beauty sleeps.
Says
Do we have beauty or handsome sleeps?
If you sleep, sleep is sleep. It translates to whatever it is.
Well, the role of sleep cannot be overemphasized. Sometimes we just need to take a break and just relax and refresh again as much as we can. But we're not talking about sleep or sleep disorder or sleep apnea or whatever it is on the show. We are talking about what is trending on social media, and the federal government is in the news again. It is seeking financial support for patient treatment. That's the patient that were involved in the Kaduna-Abuja train attack. And so far, Nigerian Kaduna residents are just blasted the federal government, seeking for financial support. And most people would say after God, it is the government. So if the government is seeking financial support, what exactly is the government telling us that they cannot really cater to the needs of residents, or what exactly is the issue? Mercy, you're smiling.
So first of all, if there's anything to go by, one would begin to say that the federal government should not and cannot ask Nigerians to contribute to take care of those who actually, or patients who are actually being treated currently at the hospital following the attack on the train, the Abuja-Kaduna train attack, right? That's what it would be. Well, because if you say that, don't forget that recently the federal government donated $1 billion to Afghanistan. I mean, we're talking about the Taliban here, to use for humanitarian issues, to ease humanitarian concern and what have you. And so I don't think that the federal government is really asking Nigerians.
So what are they saying really?
So yesterday, because that statement was actually, I'm going to read it from a verified Twitter handle of the talking about the Minister for Transportation here, Chibike Amechi, verified Twitter handle, and he says that we did not ask for contribution from Nigerians. I said the Ministry of Transportation and the federal government are grateful to the Nigerian Army for providing free treatment for the injured, and that the Nigerian Railway Corporation will liaise with the hospital management to cover other expenses. That was, the tweet that was put out on his verified Twitter handle. So that's been cleared. But I was saying, on the other hand, if it's anything to go by, the government should not be asking Nigerians at this time. Because if you look at the current reality of our country, I mean, there's a lot to go by. There's a lot of, difficulties, challenges. And plus the fact that we recently were very benevolent with, Afghanistan. I mean, we have money. That's what he means.
We're rich.
So our government cannot be asking Nigerians. It's not. It's totally not. I don't see that happening.
All right. So the minister has come out, to defend his statement, because as it was widely reported, in most dailies quoted him as saying that he said as well on a visit to 44 Nigerian Army Reference Hospital, and had asked Nigerians to liaise. Specifically, that's what the Daily Post reported, to liaise with the hospital to contribute money at some of the patients, or for some of the patients who have bullets in their body and they may need injury. Well, he has come out to say that he was misrepresented, he was misquoted, and so he has clarified that. So let's just maybe take him for his words.
And we have no reason to be asking for money now. Come on.
We're very rich now. We
Giant
have
of
plenty money
Africa.
now.
You come and be begging for money. It's not done anyway.
Well, no, we don't. We can't be embarrassing ourselves, just on national dailies and before the international community. All right, let's move away from that one. Another, topic trending on social media is this Arewa on Twitter. Nigerians are reacting right now because they have been seemingly, silent over the issues in Kaduna State, the killings and all. Before now, they have been very, very vocal when it comes to issues that concern the North. I remember many hashtags that that trended for a while, North Bleeds and all of that. They were very, very visible responsible. They were very vocal, in the fight or speaking for the voice of the Arawa people. That's the North, for instance. But somehow, they have not really talked so. I don't know if they've even said anything concerning the killings that have, happened recently in Kaduna State, the attacks, 3 attacks that happened in the phase of 1 week. But right now, Nigerians are attacking them over what they said concerning some small issues, as it were. Where the major issues, they are always quick to talk about it. So what is happening right now with the Arawa Twitter? Mercy, you want to say something concerning that?
Well, the reaction is good. Just like you have actually mentioned, Nigerians have reacted as regards Arawa Twitter staying very silent on Kaduna killings and all that's going on. I mean, the killings in the northern part of Nigeria. You want to juxtapose that with how they have been very, vocal and very expressive. Just yesterday or thereabouts, there was a certain lady that was on top of the chopping board and they were crucifying and all of that. So it gets us to that point where people are saying, oh, what exactly is going on here? But for me, it would be that we do not have a unity of purpose. I mean, we are further divided every day. I remember a time where the hashtag, when NSAS was a thing, everyone was tweeting and everyone was talking about it. Police brutality. I mean, that's exactly what it was. Yes. And on that particular micro-blogging platform, you would read tweets from those who are from, the northern part of Nigeria saying, oh, we haven't experienced police brutality here. But we don't have a sense of unity. That's exactly what it is. Now, because, for whatever reason, you just say because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it's not happening. Because you're not experiencing it does not mean that it's not happening. And so if we get to a point where we see ourselves as one, that's the problem. So we don't even know which is the major problem in Nigeria. At the time you hear Chunachebe saying the problem with Nigeria is leadership. We just understand that leadership is a problem, but should we say it's the problem of disunity, or it's a problem of leadership or all of that? But you find out that we're not even united in any sense. Because it's not happening to you, or because you have not experienced it, or for whatever reason, you just take some stance and say, you don't even say anything. Now, you already know the saying that when good people keep quiet, when there's silence, evil will continue to thrive. And we can't fold our arms and act like these things are not happening. And I would always say that Nigeria is bigger than any political party. It is not about the APC or the PDP or any other party they want to think about. And so usually you find out that we have a culture of wanting to politicize issues. Oh, it's because some people do not love President Muhammadu Buhari. They don't like his face. It's because it's not from a certain group and read. That's not the point. The point is Nigerians are going through stress. Nigerians are suffering. And we don't need to be we don't even need to begin to make it about a particular region or a particular group of persons or a political party and all of that. We're bigger than that. The Nigerian entity is bigger than any formation, but that's what we have failed to see. And that's why you find out the silence, because we know they are where they're very vocal on some issues. And just like I mentioned yesterday, they were very, strong on some other issues, but who has said anything about the killings and the bombings and all of the incidents that's really going on in the northern part of Nigeria? No one said that. Directly. And that's why, a lot of Nigerians are speaking about it. The point is we need to come to a point where we understand that we're a country. And so if it affects, the southern part of Nigeria, we should talk about it. But we have not seen ourselves as a whole. And so because it doesn't happen in a certain region, it does not happen. It's not some, it does not really happen entirely, so it's not a business. And even when it's happening in your own region, you can't talk about it. Why are you not talking about it?
Because some people just want to protect some interests as well.
So until we grow beyond all of this personal interest, religious bias, sentiment, and political affiliation, then we are not even ready to ensure that this, project called Nigeria is workable.
All right, so we'll leave the arrow Twitter at that. But then what Mercy has said, that the underlying thing is that sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, we have to be united, concerning things that affect us as a people. Once it affects the North, it affects the South as it is. So we are all one Nigeria. So, sauce for the goose is also sauce for the gander. Let's just, as much as possible, try to, be united on common issues, so that way we can actually forge ahead and, act with one voice, and that way our voices will actually resound. We'll move away from that. Well, let's talk about another issue that, that piqued my interest again, and it is also trended in the wake of talks of gun control and people killing, recklessly, arbitrarily in some Western countries. How would that look if Nigerians were allowed to bear arms? Reps majority leader is asking Al-Hassan Ado-Dogowa has called for Nigerians, to be allowed to, carry arms. Let me just read a little bit of it, then we'll now talk about it. Dogowa, a member of the All Progressives Congress, stated this on Thursday while speaking on a motion of urgent public importance moved by Shehu Balarabe. Balarabe had moved a motion on the killing of 150 persons in Birni Gwari in Kaduna State. Also, Ahmed Nasser, a member of the APC from Kano, also called for the sack of the National Security Advisor. That's other issues that came out of all of that. But the main thing is that they are asking for Nigerians to bear arms. That's the main solution to the insecurity challenges that we have. A lot of people have been killed. If we are allowed to get gun licenses and all that, some people say that it may be used arbitrarily. Some people might just go about on a shooting spree. Mercy, what are your thoughts concerning Nigerians bearing arms?
So this is not the first time we're having this argument being put out. At the time, you also want to agree that, the Minister of Defense was prescribing self-defense as a thing. And that has generated several conversations. Why should we be prescribing that? When the United States in 2015 said Nigeria would collapse, we have been described as a failed state. And some people said, oh, no, it's not. But if you want to look at the characteristics of a failed state, are we exhibiting all of that? Are we showing that? So it's a rhetoric question. I'm not hoping that you put an answer or I put an answer to that, but we need to ponder and think about, whether we're a failed state or not. I would always make reference to the fact that the Constitution is very explicit. The number one reason why we have a government is that security is top-notch, and that's what it is. Section 14 explicitly states that. Security, protection of lives and property. And so if a government fails, how did we even generate to the point where we're even thinking that we should carry arms? Really?
No,
if you look at the Western world, for most of the time, we like to emulate and we like to say, oh, the US, and we begin to mention countries. Those countries are talking about gun control at this point in time. And here we are, a country that's so disunited. I mean, don't tell me otherwise, because it's very obvious by our actions and our deeds. We can see it, right? And so we're saying that we should carry. Yes, of course, it might be that we should carry arms so we are able to attack the Boko Haram or defeat them, the bandits. Really, really, really. So why do we even have the security architecture? We have the military.
What's the role in the first place?
The Nigerian police, and these persons are being paid salary. What exactly is going? So let's collapse the entire system and let's go back to anarchy. Let's even go back to the Stone Age, where every man is for himself. We cannot. It is not even. We're not even supposed to be having this kind of a conversation at this point in time for a country, if you want to say, or for a democracy that's nascent or developing.
We are growing at this stage. We are gone beyond the teething state.
So, but we're not even supposed to have that, because really, how do you even explain it? There will be a lot that will go on.
Have they even considered all of the consequences that can just come out of all of this?
No, but because people are feeling that the government has failed. The reason why these conversations are on, or people would even suggest, and even the minister at the time of defense, once upon a time would even think about this self-defense as a way. It's because the entire system has failed. But we know what to do. That's the point. nothing is impossible. I'm not trying to sound very spiritual here. We know what to do. When there's a will, there's always a way. And it's because the government, the federal government of Nigeria, doesn't have the will to combat security issues. We're not saying we're going to get to a climb where security concerns are entirely, we just live in a society where, there's no crime and criminality. But we have not. We have. So what are we trying to say?
Go through one sort of issue.
It's really saddening that we're already thinking in the light that you and I should begin to bear arms, and you know what that would happen. You know that where there's so much violence and bitterness. Go to the micro blogging platform. I'm talking about Twitter. And begin to see how people tweet. You see the things that come out.
The venom.
Just recently, the venom, the bitterness, how people are inhuman and insensitive. Recently, following the attack on the Kaduna-Abuja train, I mean the train that was coming to Lagos. And the lady that tweeted, the doctor who tweeted that, I have just been shot, please play for me. I saw several tweets and response to that tweet. And some people say, are you dead now? Okay, when are you dying?
That's callous.
This is so we're at this point where we're now saying that we should give arms to this kind of persons. That will shoot you at the slightest provocation.
They'll just shoot.
And we'll all be dead.
A lot of things
I probably will be here with a gun and shoot Sheyi.
I know there's no love lost between you and Sheyi, but then you should temper justice with mercy, because Sheyi is fragile. You just want to handle with care.
No, that's not the point. We're saying that we haven't even gotten to the point where we understand humanity and we even consider ourselves as humans, or even love ourselves as that we're Nigerians. And it's not even a conversation that should be considered.
No, it's not.
At every level. And I would feel really embarrassed that you have a lot of persons. We understand the frustration with the fact that insecurity is a major issue, but asking that Nigerians should carry arms to defend themselves is not the solution.
Because it will be abused, not just abuse. Anything could happen. Children might just somehow, get access to these arms. The issues that have come out in the United States with the shootings and killing. Sometimes those guns belong to the parents of these children. Next thing, they bring these guns to school, and when one of their fellow students, provoke them, as the next thing, what they see in the movies, they just tend to carry it out. They just start going on,
that's the truth. So I do have a very personal story as regards, that gun issue, where a certain cousin whose father was in the police, and the young boy actually picked up the gun. It was a very dramatic incident.
Whoa.
And it was still part of what you see in the movies. And then he was pointing it.
Whatever you do,
everybody.
Whatever you do, don't
and the gun
that
was actually, it was loaded. He had live bullets. What do you expect? You will go. It doesn't matter who is holding the gun. You will go on your knees and beg. It had to be a serious one, so he doesn't even pull the trigger.
Oh.
He probably might not even know what it is. Probably looking at Superman.
Yes, might not even know what he's doing.
Bruce Willis, trying to act like Bruce Willis and any other person, Kiefer Sutherland. And
you watch too much movies, for mercy. No, you're talking about 24?
Please, I know that our countries, I know it's not easy, there's a lot going on, but having us to carry arms.
No, I don't think we should start bearing arms right now.
We're not ready for it. And even countries that we think that are even ready for it, they're even trying to find a way to control guns. So yes, let's move away from.
All right, that's as much as we can take on top trending. And Sheyi, just be assured that the Mercy isn't going to shoot you. By the way, Sheyi is one of our guys behind the scene, and he and the Mercy are always having this back and forth. I'm not going to reveal the secrets right now on air. We'll take a break. We'll go to Off the Press in a moment. Do join us again. It's still The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on PlusTvAfrica, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 and they pay.
Welcome to The Breakfast in PlusTvAfrica. It's time for Off the Press. Jide Johnson joins the conversation. It's good to have you join us, Jide Johnson. It's a beautiful Friday morning.
Good morning, Messi, and Justin. Good morning, and good morning to you.
We take a look at the
all over the world. And happy new month.
Oh yes, that's true. First of April.
I could have not pulled an April Fool's stuff for you.
So we didn't pull on the April Fool's stunt. It's fine. We take a look at the Leadership newspaper this morning and looking at the banner caption. It talks about 2023 presidency. Nodding PDP aspirant intensify plan to produce next president. And that's what you find there. Boldly written. Tambuwal Bala Saraki Dane take consensus campaign to IBB in Mina. Nigeria's unity and progress more important, says as military president, that's Ibrahim Babangida. Away from the banner caption, alleged $9.8 million fraud, court freezes ex-NNPC GMD Yakubu's account. And you also find Reps adjourn plenary over incessant killings. It's also another reminder you find this morning. President Muhammadu Buhari backs Africa Road Builders Award for infrastructure. Interesting, just as you have a lot of people complaining about a lot of trunk A roads across the country. And even, Nigeria really not necessarily having a very smooth road network. Troops killed 34 terrorists, 45 others die in Boko Haram ISWAP clash. That's what also you find there. We cannot complete Ajakuta plans before leaving in 2023. Federal government is quoted to say we cannot complete the Ajakuta plant before leaving in 2023. The federal government is saying, and blames failure on Russia-Ukraine crisis. That's something very interesting. Well, these are some of the headlines this morning on the Leadership newspaper.
All right, away from the Leadership, we'll move on next to the Nigerian Tribune. The lead story is just in the pro-term carte blanche. Insecurity reps talk tough. That's the lead story on the Nigerian Tribune. The other stories, let's just see if we can take some of them just by the left column there. End Ogun court killings now, Buhari direct security agencies. Then consensus arrangement, Saraki Tambuwal, Bala meet with IBB. Patronage drops on Lagos-Ibadan train route. Court frees ex-NNPC GMD Andrew Yakubu of $9.8 million fraud charge. Other stories, Lekki Toll Plaza, Lagos Government LCC engage stakeholders, seek understanding. Above the masthead on the Nigerian Tribune, EFCC arrests 80 suspected internet fraudsters in Ibadan, 40 in Enugu. Bandits invade housing estate in Kaduna, kidnap customs officer, son, 4 others. There's a rider there. Let me see if I can take that. Traditional ruler, 3 others kidnapped in Abuja. Pastor, son, 5 others abducted in Kogi State. Insecurity everywhere. Then just before we leave the Nigerian Tribune, just at the bottom right side of the front page, Ramadan, search for moon today, Sultan tells Muslims. Those are the stories you can find on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this Friday morning.
Well, we take a look at the Punch newspaper. Looking at the front page of the Punch, you have a Kaduna reign of terror. Terrorists kill 7 soldiers. NAF rains bombs on forest, as boldly written. And military gets approval to deploy Super Tucano. DSS please comb forest. National Assembly threatens shutdown. APC lawmakers demand NAS sacking. Leaked memos reveal why FEC rejected Amaechi's 3.7 billion naira security proposal. Of course, following the request that we need to have CCTVs and security gadgets and equipment along. But a lot of people had queried why we didn't have that at the construction level.
Yes.
Why didn't we factor that into the plan? And some persons say, don't forget that the railway project is being completed by this government. It was something that was started. But is there no room to adjust and amend the entire process? It just constantly pushes us to look at a certain narrative, and then we don't want to be responsible for all that's going on. But we move away from that now. Another says Oyo gets the NAF base. Makinde boosts construction with 500 million naira. Ramadan, look out for new moon. Friday, the NSCIA tells Muslims. And you also find NIN SIM linkage. Federal government threatens enforcement as deadline expires. Now, just before we move away from the Punch newspaper, cash-strapped states groan, widen tax net and begins aggressive revenue generation. And usually a country that is not very, very, viable with, or a government that's not very viable with revenue generation, tax would always be it. So when you begin to go down, I mean, it's just normal, simple economics, that the other way out of the window or the struggle would be that, the people would be heavily taxed. And that's what's going on. Federal government to spend 2.3 trillion naira presidential fund on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and 3 others. These are the headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning.
The last paper we are reviewing this morning is The Nation newspaper. The main story, fears mount over 136 people on attacked Abuja-Kaduna train. With some writers there, they can't be contacted, says NRC. Terrorists phone 5 hostages' families. Angry reps pass vote of no confidence in security chiefs. Police defuse IED at train station. Panic in FCT, Kaduna Abuja Road. More stories on The Nation newspaper just below the masthead there. How 223 billion naira US consulate in Lagos will lift Nigerians. Okay, data call rates to go up. I think that's the fallout of the Alton meeting. That's the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators in Nigeria. They had a briefing yesterday, and we were told about the shutdown of some of their stations in Kogi State and how it would affect some neighboring states, about 9 of them. Also, they talked about how the price of diesel, has gone up to about over 700, and it is actually affecting operations. So all of that you can find on The Nation newspaper. Oyetola upgrades College of Education Elisha to university. Ex-NNPC GMD Yakubu cleared of laundering $9.8 million. Wow, 300 days rainfall to pound Lagos this year. Messi, Lagosian, brace up. Gunmen abduct customs official, 9 others in Kaduna State. These are the stories. Let's just leave it at that so we can bring in Jide Johnson to analyze some of the issues on the front pages.
Jide Johnson, it's good to have you join us once again this beautiful Friday morning. It's the very first day in the month of April, and we say Happy New Month to you.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be with you too. Johnson and all our viewers all over the world. So, here we go.
Let's take a look at the Punch newspaper this morning. We start with the Punch. It talks about terrorists killed 7 soldiers, and the NAF rains bombs on the forest. So there's been this attack shortly after this incident. You also have saying that the military has finally gotten approval to deploy the Super Tucano, that's the jet, and the DSS and police. So it feels like there's some sort of efforts, and we're hoping to see that maybe, these killings and attacks would actually reduce.
We are short on memory in Nigeria. We are short on memory in Nigeria. You recall when there was this attack last year, and then there was grandstanding, and that some super cop and super, even I recall that the Inspector General of Police and some top military brass visited that axis when there was this terrorist attack along Kaduna Abuja. It was on the road then. It was vehicles that disrupted vehicular movement. We know this axis. We have said it over time. If anything could affect Kaduna and could affect Abuja, the whole of Nigeria is not safe. And that's the reality, and we've been paying lip service to it, particularly from government, living in self-denial, from government side. All the critical infrastructure of our security architecture are based in Kaduna. And Abuja is our capital, where you have your political architecture, the centerpiece of your public administration. Yet those corridors are not safe. And you are now saying President Direct. I'm sure if you do a content analysis of our programs in the last 1 year, and if you do a content analysis of this paper report, I can't recall the number of directives the president has given with respect to security agencies doing their job. Once you have appointed, excuse me, please. Sorry. Once you have appointed head of security agencies, they are required to do their job. They don't need further directive from the president to do their job. It's like your producer giving you a directive or your MD giving you directive to come to studio today to present these programs or for the producers to work on this program. So it's dereliction of duty. In civilized climate, what has happened will have even made the president to resign, or will have even made some people to willingly resign from the office because they have failed to do what they are elected to do, and they have failed to do what they have been appointed to do. So deployment, do we need to tell the Air Force to comb, or the DSS to comb that corridor? I just can't understand. I just can't understand where you have a systemic failure and people live with it, and then some will come and give us flimsy excuses, ridiculous excuses, nauseating and insulting excuses about, oh, you have asked these people to do this, to do that, to do that. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you have a situation whereby more than 300 Nigerians could not be accounted for. Even the Nigerian Railway Corporation in this age and time does not have the manifest of the people that enter the rail system, despite the investment, the huge investment that was made into this. And despite this present administration using this rail system as one of the cardinal achievements they have done. When you talk about the achievement, oh, they have not done, they said, oh, go and look at the infrastructure we have built, look at the railway, look at this, look at that. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that we'll lose 7 soldiers and then we'll lose many Nigerians before the Air Force will think of what to do and the DSS will think of what to do.
Well, but we found out that they are already in the forest and they are combing the forest, and they have actually made some progress.
Mercy, you remember some people combed the forest before. That same forest just combed before. Why are they combing it again? They should address it and not use comb.
All right, Jide Johnson, let's move on. Although almost all the papers carried insecurity as their main headline, you know.
Just like you have that the House of Rep. I recall a program we have, and we are talking about insecurity here on Friday morning, where I said that I challenge the Senate President, that is from Yobe State, to travel from Abuja to Yobe State without the paraphernalia of office, whether it could travel. And where I challenged the Speaker, I said the Speaker is from my state, I'm from Lagos State, that I require the Speaker of House of Rep to travel from Abuja down to Lagos. And I asked, when was the last time they traveled by road from any member of the House of Rep from Abuja to their various federal constituency? How many? So all this one they are doing is just grandstanding for the moment, playing to the gallery, playing the ostrich for the moment. And once another story comes up and this issue is gone, they continue with business as usual. The council plenary because of what happened. Justin.
All right,
I don't want to.
You really seem very unpleased this morning with some of the stories on the headlines.
No, you see, because the life of a Nigerian is what the life of every Nigerian, and it seems as if the people we have elected and the people they have appointed don't care much about us. That's the reality. Now you see the way we deploy. Now the security that should be meant for every Nigerian, you deploy it for few Nigerians that are elected, that are meant to. Now, if the president is coming, look at the security architecture around the president. Look at the one around the House of Rep. Look at the one around the governors. Look at the ones around well-meaning Nigerians. Now, you deploy security. You see the way state resources are being used to protect the few that are elected by the majority, while the majority is left at the mercy of the few that feed from the state. And then when things happen, they start grandstanding. It's irritating and it's annoying.
All right, Jide Johnson, let's also look at the Leadership newspaper. My question is, what do you make of the excuse that the federal government is giving, because it's more of an excuse here, saying we cannot complete the Jakarta plant before leaving in 2023, and that's because of the Russian-Ukraine crisis?
No, the Russian-Ukraine started in 2015 when they came to power, or it started in 2019 when they had their second term. Russian-Ukraine crisis is not even up to 4 months. Yet they are using that as an excuse. It's unfortunate that we have found ourselves in the situation which we have found. I don't know the conspiracy. I knew about Ajaokuta since I was a young boy. Since I was a kid, not even a young boy. Since I was a kid, that we keep talking about Ajaokuta Tea Complex, that if we complete this, it will bring about a turnaround in the Nigerian industrial sector. It will bring about a turnaround in our economy. We don't have to depend on importing steel and other things that we require to turn around our economy, to change our over-dependence on oil and diversify the economy to other critical areas. So any serious government over the years, and it has been a failure of government, and I think we have been in the midst of the conspiracy between the West and the East. That's between Russia, then USSR, and the Western world. You recall that when the first attempt was made, Nigeria was working with Russia. In actual sense, we employed Russians to come and build that infrastructure for us then, and then
All right, we seem to be having some audio itch there with Jide Johnson. We'll try and reconnect him in just a bit. But when we get him, I would want him to talk about other issues that are trending or making headlines this morning. Today is April the 1st, popularly tagged April Fool. Some people are asking who exactly is fooling who, or the Lekki toll plaza reopening today. Welcome back, Jide Johnson. I was just saying about today is April Fool's Day.
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, fine. So I want you to talk about the Lekki toll plaza reopening as Lagos government, LCC engage stakeholders, seek understanding. It's on the Tribune newspaper. So just react to that. It is April the 1st.
Justin, you have gone through that toll. What's the essence of that toll? I'm asking you, what's the essence of that toll? What's the essence? That's the question we need to ask. Does this have economic sense? Does this have infrastructure sense? Why do you put toll on those two? Now, I'm a taxpayer. I pay taxes to government. Government is meant to provide me with critical infrastructure that will help me to make more money so as I can pay more taxes. Now, having paid taxes, now, government has used the taxes they collected from me to construct road, and government is tolling me on that road. I've said this over time, over and over and over again. What's the essence of those two, the Ikoyi toll and the Lekki toll? What's the essence of it? Now, if you are used to that axis, you discover that the removal of collection of toll on that has even freed that environment. The traffic we used to experience, the traffic has reduced considerably. And then you ask yourself, what is the logic behind that toll? Once you get to Zubamba the way and you're approaching the toll, the lanes are up to 12. And then once you exit from that and you're approaching Lekki Phase 1 gate, then the lane comes back to 2. So you ask yourself, what is the logic? Who is fooling who? Who is making money? Who are those? And then you recall that before Fashola left, Fashola said, because it was said that Lagos State borrowed money to construct that toll, Fashola said that he has completely paid the Lekki concession company. So who? And then this government, I don't know who is advising them from strategic point of view. And then the day they think that they will come up with restoring the toll was April 1st. April Fool Day. They are just making a fool of themselves because the people have the resolve to resist.
Let's not stay so much on that because we will actually dive into it much later on the show today. But let's talk about other stuff that are trending. I want you to also react concerning the Ogun, court rivalry that's been on for quite some time right now. And the president, Muhammad Buhari, is directing security agents to handle it. Now, what are your thoughts concerning what's happening in Ogun State in recent times? It's also the Tribune newspaper.
Yeah, well, you see, the issue of cultism does not affect local. It affects every part of our country. It's just all you need to do is for you to just go on the street, go to some streets across Lagos, from Agege to Shomolu to Fadeyi, and Fadeyi to Bariga to Bagada, so Oronshoki and the rest of it. So you have this cultural body because the media, it becomes much more prominent in Ogun State. But the question I keep asking is, what are the security agencies in the state? What are they doing? And how does the governor justify the security votes, and the local government chairman justify the security votes they collect on a monthly basis? And don't also forget that we recall that in Ogun State, the previous government bought 100,000. There was 100,000 AK-47 that was discovered in the armory of the state government. And you ask yourself this question: are they fighting war in Ogun State? Now, and then don't also divulge this court war. What you have seen in Ogun State will replicate itself in almost all the states in Nigeria, because it's a political tough war. It's rooted in politics. It's rooted in the control of power within the community, control of power within the state. And who controls power come 2023 political power? So beyond what you are seeing on the surface, there are deeper roots behind this court war, and then you require agencies of government to do what they are supposed to do, because it's all directive you have been receiving: directive to deal with cardinal crisis, directive to deal with one in Ogun State. You get directive for us to come. I require directive next week to come on set for this program.
Well, Jide Johnson, we look at another header. It talks about the president being awarded, he bags the award of Africa Road Builders Award for infrastructure.
Wonderful. Award is in the eyes of those that are giving the award. How many people can travel by road in Nigeria? The air travel is a mess. How many people? Then the railway came and they said, and how many people? There's this particular story that said that there's a drop in people using the railway from Lagos to Ibadan. There's a drop there's a drop in the passenger. So how many people will use the Cardinal Abuja rail? So those that are giving the award, they are just deceiving themselves. They are playing their street. Let them live under illusion. Let them live under that delusion. Just like the Nobel Prize peace people did by giving Obama an award on global award on Nobel Peace Prize. Yet Obama was part and parcel of those that invaded Libya, that caused crisis across the globe. So I'm not. It's what I've told people. When they talk about the award, I just laugh. There's one award. It's called the Most Valuable Player, World Footballer of the Year. There was one in 2002. Ronaldo was the most valuable player of the tournament. Was the goalkeeper, and that was the only tournament that Ronaldo da Lima played. And then when they were awarded the most valuable player of the year, Ronaldo, that was not the most valuable player of the tournament, became the most valuable player of the world. Yet he was not the most valuable player of the tournament, and that was the only competition he played in 2002. Korea Japan 2002 World Cup. Oliver Kahn was made the MVP of the tournament, and the MVP of the tournament was not the fourth footballer of the year, and the player that was not the MVP. So the award they are giving to Buhari, let them continue with the award. Continue. That's what I'll say.
No, but
anybody can.
Jide Johnson, what is really why don't we have? I mean, if you look at the entire country, you look at the road network, not entirely anything to write home about. Why is it that we have not been able to have a handle of at least the road infrastructure in Nigeria?
I traveled to Akure twice this year, and I came back and I spent hundreds of thousands repairing my car. Ask an average Nigerian that traveled; they will tell you what they spend in maintaining their car. And we have said it, Nigerian, when people conceive the idea of cars, they never imagine there will be roads as terrible as Nigerian roads. They never imagine that there will be roads as terrible as Nigerian roads. So when people are giving themselves award for road construction, I just ask them, do they use the road? They don't use the road. Now, the president will come to Lagos and he want to go to any other place. He will use chopper to go to those places, and then they will take the advanced vehicle to go and meet him. And we have seen people too parading themselves to be presidential candidate, and they are from the southwest. They are not using cars to travel throughout the southwest. They are using helicopter, and people are crazy about it. When someone has not become president, he's using helicopter. When he becomes president, what would he use? So they are not conscious, they are not aware. And I've said it. It is because our political leaders don't make use of this infrastructure. They would rather the speaker will fly from Abuja to Lagos. The Senate president will fly from Abuja to Yobe, or will fly to wherever he wants to go. So they don't have an understanding, they don't have first-hand experience of what an average Nigerian goes through. As a result of that, they are disconnected. So there is a disconnection between the reality of an average Nigerian and the reality of Nigeria with those that are ruling us.
All right, Jide Johnson, we don't have much time, but let's just finally talk about the NIN SIM linkage on the Punch newspaper. The federal government is threatening enforcement as a deadline expires.
Well, one of the arguments is that they will be able to trace and contact and identify Nigerians, and then be able to fight the insecurity issue. Now, since those that have registered, how many have we traced? And then when you trace and you arrest, you call them repentant Boko Haram. Then government play to the gallery in labeling bandits and Boko Haram as terrorists by labeling them as insurgents. And that's what we are seeing. We are seeing that our soldiers are being killed, our citizens are being killed. We have seen situations where barracks have been attacked. We have seen situations where military formations have been attacked. There is nowhere that is safe. And government is threatening those ones that you have arrested, those ones that you have linked. What have we done with it? As far as I'm concerned, in public administration and in democracy, government does not use threat. Government uses persuasion and enforcement of your law. And then once you do that enforcement, you allow your institutions to take its course, not by use sentiment. They have repented. I have asked, what is the yardstick? What do you use to measure repentance of somebody? I don't know when it comes to security issues. So I have linked mine. I'm sure majority of the people have linked theirs. I will see what happens to it. But one thing that I would just want to add to it is that you could see that they said the call rates will go up, the data rate will go up because the price of diesel has gone up. And when that goes up, what happens to other sector of the economy? We are in for a good time, not for a rough time. God will help Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jide Johnson. Indeed, God bless Nigeria and Nigerians. Jide Johnson is the Chief Lecturer at Nigerian Institute of Journalism. He joined us to talk about all of the issues on the front page of various dailies this morning. We call it Off the Press, and that's as much as we can take. Once again, thank you so much, JJ.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Justin. And Mercy, have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you enjoy yourself.
I intend to. Yeah. All right, that's Off the Press for this week. We will take what happened this same day in history, and we'll come back and we'll have our first conversation of the day on The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. Do join us again. Are you looking for a place where your voice and opinions can be heard, where your voice matters? Open Square is that place where legislators and constituents meet to forge a path forward. In the first edition, we take you to Southwest Ibadan, Oyo State. The second edition was in Gombe for the Northeast. Now we take you to Enugu in the Southeast. Open Square is a Dara Media production supported by Plus TV Africa, showing on Saturday, April the 2nd from 10 a.m. on Plus TV Africa and Radio Now 95.3 FM, both on terrestrial and online on www.thisisradionow.com.
date for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye. Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Event is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Right, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment on winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
All right, welcome back. It's still The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. When we introduced the show, we told you that today is April the 1st, and the Lagos State government actually has appealed for understanding. Let me just give you a bit of an intro. The Lagos State government has urged the people of the state, especially the residents of Lekki and Ikoyi, to show understanding over the proposed reopening of the Lekki-Ikoyi Link Bridge Toll Plaza by the Lekki Concession Company Limited. The appeal was made by Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho, and his counterpart in transport as well as Home Affairs, that is Dr. Fredericks Oladende and Prince Anofi Elegushi, respectively, during a stakeholders meeting on Wednesday. Now, they assured the residents of Lagos that the government would look into all the requests and recommendations made by the stakeholders and would respond adequately. Now, the stakeholders meeting was held to engage key residents on the plan of the LCC to reopen the Lekki-Ikoyi Link Bridge, that is today, and it was attended by key stakeholders, including the president of the Lekki Estate Residents Association, Olorogun James Emadoye, human rights activist, journalist, and resident. Now, some of the speakers had expressed their views about the plan to reopen the toll plaza, urging the state government to halt the process for now. We're now being joined by our correspondent, Paul George, who is live at the toll plaza to bring us up to speed as regards what's going on as we speak. Good morning to you, Paul. Thanks for joining us on The Breakfast.
Good morning, Justin.
All right. Can you tell us exactly what is going on around you concerning the reopening of the toll plaza? So far, has it been reopened?
Okay, right now we are at the Lekki toll gate, the one that leads to Ikoyi. I'm actually on the Ikoyi bridge. And when it looks like April Fool is actually real, it's not April Fool. Now, when we got here, when we started filming, then a man came out, he said he's the MD of Lekki Concession Company Limited. So he spoke to us and he said we shouldn't go close to the toll gate. So when we talked to him, we told him that we're doing our normal duty that we are mandated by the Constitution to even report whatever we want to report, as long as we are not infringing on anybody's rights. And he insisted that we can't go there because that's where the office is close to the place. But we also let him know that this is our job. They're doing their own duties. The security men are here, the police, anti-robbery, RIS, and their men are here. So when we move to start shooting, the man, gave instructions to the police to come and destroy our camera. But I insisted, and I told Tayo to continue shooting. So they almost fixed the camera, but we resisted what all their advances at us. So that one of the journalists, Edu Jacobs, his glasses have been seized and his contact has been collected from him. And that's the situation right now.
All right.
Olu Philip.
Okay, fine.
I beg your pardon.
Olu Phillips. Okay, fine. So invariably you're telling us that they are not allowing journalists to do their constitutional job at the toll gate. But have you been able to speak to residents along that corridor? What's the pulse that you're feeling at this particular time?
I can hear you clearly. Please, can you repeat that?
Have you been able to speak to some of the residents around the Lekki-Ikoyi axis? What are the feedbacks you're getting from residents around that area?
No, we've not been able to speak to anyone. That what they're doing basically is just running the sticker or the card that they said everybody must get before you can pass through this toll gate. So that's the situation right now. But we are still here.
All right.
So, Paul, George, are you saying that the tolling has actually started? They're collecting fees as we speak right now?
Well, it's the fee they are collecting is electronic fee. I guess they want to move away from that, the normal toll gate hand-to-hand fee. So what they are doing right now, you get a sticker, and that sticker is just like you're subscribing. then you start paying. If you don't have that sticker, you can't pass through this toll gate at Ikoyi.
Would it be fair to say that this is a test run for the reopening?
I can hear you.
Would it be fair to say that this is a test run for the reopening?
Oh, please, I can hear you. Can you say that? Say it again.
What Mercy asked, what's going on right now? Is it like a test run for the reopening of the toll gate? Paul, if you can hear us, you said that they are not doing cash hand-to-hand collection. They are doing it electronically. So Mercy is asking if it is a test run, so to speak.
Oh, okay. Even though I can hear you, but let me just say something. When the man called us that he wanted to address us, he said what they are doing is exploring, that they have not started collecting fees. But I've learned from few persons here that it is electronic fee collection. That's what they are doing.
Okay.
All right.
So prior to this time, we had feelers and reports that some residents of Lekki would actually be out protesting. Do you have a group of persons out there protesting the reopening of the toll gate?
Right now, there are no protesters around. We are the only person here. And some other journalists from other media houses. So that's the situation.
All right. Thank you so much, Paul George, for that particular report. Just try and stay safe. We'll be getting back to you in the course of the show and then, of course, subsequent bulletins to find out exactly what's going on at the field. We do appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, Mercy, it is actually very interesting what's going on there. I don't know why they are giving, pushing out stiff, measures for journalists who just want to ordinarily just do their job. Why are they not allowing us work?
Well, it's a practice that's been going on for a lot of time, for a while now. And if you look at it, every time you want to have a protest, you have people, Nigerians coming out to the street to protest against a certain policy, government policy or action, and then they are being greeted by this obstacle where you have the instrument of government also used against them. At this point, we're talking about the police and the brutality. And so in the course of this job, we've gotten several reports where, journalists had been manhandled and all of that. I remember we speaking with him off camera just before we got on air. He talked about the fact that he's not very settled, and that's the reason we're unable to even have, a video, a virtual interaction at this point in time. But it's really, really saddening, because if we still talk about our democracy and we are saying that we need to move forward as a country, then you want to talk about free press and, freedom, the freedom of the press. But how free is the press in Nigeria? We constantly see all of this. We're unable to have the major reason. Yeah, the major reason we're able to have that, face-to-face interaction, via Zoom. It's because of the situation on ground, and all we're asking, it just becomes very difficult, and it becomes very, very saddening. But it is what it is. We can only pray, as always, and hope that one day we will get it right.
All right, we're still expecting to be joined by one of the NSA's lawyers who will talk about the reopening in a moment. We still also have sports to talk about the future of the NFF in a moment. Stay with us. More to come your way on The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment.
is another thing for them to still be able to when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
So what are the tough decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, PlusTvAfrica, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
All right, welcome back. It is still the breakfast on Plus TV Africa, and we are staying with the development at the Lekki toll gate. We just spoke with our correspondent Paul George, who said that a lot is going on there, and the press is not being allowed to do their job, and a whole lot is actually happening on Twitter. Nigerians are reacting. Lots of people airing their views concerning that. Even the police has come out to say that breakdown of law and order will not be tolerated. The Lekki Landlords Association, they've actually given their position concerning that. They are saying that the Lekki toll gate should actually be abolished. Specifically, the Lekki Estate Restaurant and Stakeholders Association chairman announced the decision of all restaurants, which is no to polling. It is really quite very funny. Most Nigerians are saying that this is one of the first things that they are doing as opening the toll gate when there were major concerns raised during the NSAS protest. The talk of police brutality, which is still ongoing even after the NSAS protest has died down. Year after, Nigerians are still being harassed on the street. So why the suddenness? Why are they so quick to want to open down the Lekki toll gate? And Nigerians are Twitter is just a boss with the Lekki toll gate hashtag.
So apart from the hashtag NSAS, justice for the victims of the NSAS, you already understand the position of the government around that. The fact that one of the requests is that there has to be justice for the victim of NSAS. But there are a lot of issues that this justice for victim of hashtag NSAS has actually, opened us back to. The issue of the legality, the fact that Jide Johnson talked about it. Jide Johnson also talked about why we have a toll gate, in the state. And some people are talking, why do you have to toll people? We're still in Lagos State, and then you're tolling Lekki to Ikoyi, or those who have to get from. So you live in this axis, getting out to going to Ikeja, you probably have to pay a toll when you're in the same state. Now, if you remember vividly, the Federal High Court in Lagos at the time had recently, there was a judgment that was recently put out that time, questioning and talking about the fact that, the toll link bridge, the Ikoyi and Lekki toll link bridge is unconstitutional. At some point, there was some securing of stay of execution to that. Stay of execution, that's to say that, it should remain closed. So there are a lot of issues. The legality of the toll itself. The argument that some people have put out is that, where were the residents, where were some of these persons when, the government came up with the idea of making the roads motorable because the roads were really bad. But let's even go back to the idea of government and governance. And so what's the essence? So the people get into a contract. It's a social contract. Government is a social contract. People will pay their taxes and in turn, and then you provide, basic infrastructure. And road is one of them. So that's number one. There's a lot of questioning going on as regards the rationale behind having a toll in the city of Lagos. That's on the one hand. Another question again is also the issue of ownership. People have constantly questioned who owns, because there's no transparency, who owns the LCC. And, it's also another issue that's still ongoing.
All right, we have a soundbite we want to show you. A group of lawyers on their position concerning the issues that came up with the answers and, of course, the reopening of the Lekki toll gate. We'll take that now and come talk some more. Stay with us.
Kwame Nicholas Anthony Okwe is a survivor of the Lekki massacre. He was shot right in the chest. The bullet penetrated his arteries to the back, and he's just alive today by sheer grace. The magistrate court does not have jurisdiction over a case like murder and the rest. They are capital offences. So the proper forum is still the High Court. So there was an end on 4 count charge. 1, rape. 2, the second count is conspiracy to commit felony to wit murder. The third count is sexual intercourse. Then 4 is murder.
We all know that the first main responsibility of every government is the provision of security. And when we look at the BRT saga as related to late Mr. Bamishe, we can see clearly that Lagos State government failed woefully in their responsibility in providing security to its citizens and residents. For at least provide a functioning CCTV cameras in the BRT buses.
I was one of the survivors at the Lekki 2 Gate NSAS protest on the 20th October 2020. Although all the promises the Lagos State government have promised us, the victims, they have not fulfilled any. This where the bullet penetrated.
So you were shot just hold on.
And they remove it at the back, at Lasut.
So show them the back.
This is where they removed it.
They removed it. He's just someone that God does not want to kill.
And they now fix a pipe into my belly in the theater. So that will be bringing out bad water and bad blood.
Are you feeling very well now?
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit well now, by His grace. We are still demanding justice.
Is the Lagos State government telling us that life is not important? Whereas that is number 1 right. According to the Nigerian Constitution, Chapter 4, according to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and even in accordance with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, people's lives have been terminated, and government is not doing anything about it. This issue of Bamishe.
All right, welcome back. You saw some legal counsels there, and of course the CDH are expressing their concerns about reopening, and of course the victims of the NSAS in a protest who are yet to get justice. You saw one of the victims who was shot through the back, and all that he had to go through with surgery to extract the bullet, and what life has been for him even after that. Mercy.
Well, really, really sad. You have some quotas saying that there's been some settlement that's gone on. But like I mentioned, it has really gone beyond justice for the victim of SARS, the hashtag NSAS protest, as it were. It goes beyond that. A lot of issues have been, raised as regards. This is actually, like an opener to all these other concerns. Like we mentioned earlier on, the pending court matters. You have the issue of ownership and transparency. You also want to look at the issue of development. Some persons have questioned what development the Lagos State government has brought to this part, of Lagos State. There are no general hospitals. You don't have primary schools. You don't have, markets. And so why are the people having to pay extra tax? Because that's what it means. Tolling the people, the toll gate will mean the people are paying extra, apart from the tax that they are paying. So people are already asking, and this is what government and governance is about. We're talking about the social contract here, where government says we will do X, Y, Z. In turn, you're expected to do X, Y, Z. So we'll provide basic amenities and infrastructure. You would give us your rights. So the people have submitted their will and say, hey, government, take a group of persons. We submit our will to you. We'll pay our taxes. And in turn, we're expected to do X, Y, Z. So this is a very valid issue. And in a democratic dispensation, one would expect that the government should not use, the sticker approach. But, this is a form where people need to sit back. It's almost an election year. It's time that those who are calling the shots, those who are, leading, those who are governors and president and what have you, sit down and have negotiation. Listen to the cry of the people. But most times it feels like we're always very, forceful. We want to have our way against others. I'm hoping that the Lagos State government will pay attention to the cries of, Nigerians, Lagosians here, to some of the concerns that they have raised. And then let's look at it. So what's really the answer? If the government has, an answer to some of these issues that have been raised, let them. So it goes beyond saying we're asking for justice for the victims of the
Lekki,
Lekki incident that happened in 2020. So that's what it is, and we're hoping that as a responsive government, they will pay attention. It's not a time for us to begin to, get into that conflict and war, and then the police coming out to say people should not protest. But from the reports that we're getting, this feels like it's a test run, to the actual thing that would definitely happen, maybe trying to see, what it is. But the people are asking, why do we even have to pay extra when we're already paying our taxes? And what do we get in turn for paying this extra? Who even owns this, the fees that we're generating from the toll and all of that? Let's also look at the issue. You also look at the fact that productive time is also being wasted at that point. You talk about the traffic. The traffic. Now, if you live around this axis, you want to agree with me that when you get to the Ajah axis, that's the VGC point around that road. So there's a construction that's going on, and that also causes a lot of traffic, coupled with the fact that when these petrol stations, the queue return from time to time, you find this queue returning, it causes a lot of traffic, and productive time is also being reduced. When you have an economy that is not productive, I mean, for instance, you're supposed to be somewhere and you can't get to work where you're supposed to be, you're already losing productive hours, and an economy that's losing productive time, will become less productive. So it calls for a lot. We're already wasting money via wasting time and wasting manpower, and that's not really good for us. So let's come to a table and have this dialogue and understand the concerns of the people, and that's what government is. If you talk about the policy circle, in the policy circle, the people would actually make, this input into the policy circle. It comes out as outputs. Government should pay attention to it. But most times you find out that policies do not reflect the interests of the people. And whose interest do we have all of these tolls for? It's a question. So the toll, is it for the interest of the people? And would government begin to say, because if you look at the roads that we already have, let's not even forget, these were roads that were constructed during the military, era of the government. How come they did not? These are federal roads. How come we don't have, tolls on these roads? I don't know if you're getting the point. It's really, really sad. We need to understand that our policies and our actions and inactions should be reflecting the interest of the people. There should be no disconnect at this point in time. Nigerians are going through a lot. I always say that I feel like being a Nigerian, there should be some of allowance and salary that should be set aside just because you're a Nigerian. Not to even talk about Lagos. A special consideration should be given to Lagosians.
All right, that's all we can take on all of that. That's as much as we can take, because the more we talk about it, it gets very, very emotional, because at the end of the day, Nigerians, I feel we are being exploited. We pay for taxes, the commensurate of infrastructure we're seemingly not really getting, and we are even asked to pay more. Well, we'll leave it at that, we'll leave discussion at that, but let's just continue to make a reasonable conversation across the various social media platforms. Let's make our voices and our intentions, of course, known, so the government will know that we know what is right, and we will keep on demanding, for justice, and ensure that we get what is due to us as Nigerians, as residents. More to come on the breakfast this time around. We will be looking at what is next for the Nigerian Football Federation. Nigeria, our team is not going to Qatar. What's happening? Eguavon has stepped aside as the coach of the Super Eagles. So just what is next for Nigeria Football Federation? In a moment, I'll be getting some answers to all of these questions. Stay with us.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on PlusTvAfrica, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thoughts and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
It's The Breakfast and Plus TV Africa, time to talk sports. Austin Eguavoen has stepped down as the head coach of Nigeria Super Eagles days after the team failed to qualify for the 2022 World Cup holding in Qatar. Now, shortly after that, you have the NFF sacking the technical team. Nigeria's Football Federation, Dr. Mohammed Sanusi, in a statement of a 2-year contract offered Eguavoen has been withdrawn. Sanusi said a new crew would be announced after her proper view to lead the new charge of the Super Eagles to face future challenges appropriately. The Nigerian Football Federation had earlier offered unreserved apologies to the federal government and Nigerians for the failure of the Super Eagles to qualify for the World Cup. We do have a sports journalist, Monday Thomas, who joins the conversation this morning to share his thoughts on what's next for the NFF. Good morning, Monday Thomas. It's good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning and happy. I must start by saying that as being an Arsenal fan and also a Super Eagles supporter, I mean, it's a double header. It's quite disappointing that we won't see the most populous African nation at the World Cup. Good morning, and it's fantastic to be here.
So let's even start the conversation on that particular note. What are your thoughts? I mean, looking at the game, we had the second leg. What really happened? Can you share your thoughts on how you felt when, we didn't qualify following the game that happened in Abuja?
From the Nigerian point of view, being a patriot, being a Super Eagles supporter, it was very devastating. But before the game, I knew it was going to be very difficult for the Super Eagles of Nigeria to qualify. Knowing that it is not just a game, but a derby of so much importance, and knowing the banter that happens between Ghanaians and Ghana. Of course, the Super Eagles of Nigeria did their very best. You've got to also know that they played against Ghana. Ghana, they want to make it to the World Cup as well. They didn't feature in the last edition, and they want to make it to the World Cup by all means. So it was a great game. We saw the Super Eagles of Nigeria going to Kumasi. They had chances that they should have buried the game, or maybe just get a 1-0 lead in Kumasi and maybe come to Nigeria and finish up the business, but they couldn't take their chances. The same thing we saw in Abuja. The worst case scenario was conceding the first goal. That was the worst case. That was the worst thing that was going to happen. And of course, knowing that in Africa, in CAF, there is what we call an away goal rule. And of course, the coach Otto came out to say that the Super Eagles, of course, deserve to qualify, that he pitied the Super Eagles, that the Black Stars were just lucky. So yesterday, we saw the news of the NFF disengaging the technical crew of the Super Eagles. We also saw a news that Guavon has stepped down as the technical advisor of the Super Eagles, but returning to the role of the technical director of the NFF. And we also saw the apology from the NFF. They are sorry. Of course, we are humans and we should accept the apologies. But in order for them to be completely sorry, I think everyone needs to step down, just like what we are seeing in Algeria, just like what we are seeing in Egypt. This morning, Hector Cooper, the coach of the Democratic Republic of Congo, resigned and is completely out of job. They are sorry. They should, of course, give chance for another tenure, because this is not just working. It is not just working. They've gotten the support at the AFCON. We had some incentives, money incentives, but things were not just working. They've gotten all the support they needed from Nigerians, from the Ministry of Youth and Sports, but they are not just getting the result needed. So the NFF is disengaging the technical team. I think they should be resolved as well. So they should step down.
All right, Monday, there's a whole lot that has actually happened in the aftermath of Nigeria failing to qualify, for the Mondial in Qatar. There has been also calls that the NFF, the man at the helms of affairs, that's Amaju Pinnick, should also resign. You stated rightly that the technical crew too, and has also been asked to step down, with Guevara also stepping down. So right now, what do we begin to do? Fine, we are not going to be in the Mondial. A whole lot of issues came out with that match that we had in Abuja. They talked about, not using our, best legs for that. So as it is right now, what should be the main focus of the Nigeria Football Federation? What do we begin to do going forward? So all of these little issues and failing to qualify and technical issues and don't resound over time.
All right, this is not the first time this is happening to Nigeria, and we and Nigerians, we get to face a lot apart from football. In 2012, we didn't qualify to the AFCON, and this is going to be the first time we won't be going to the World Cup since 2006. And it's sounding like a cliche. We need to go back to the drawing board. We need to go back to the drawing board. Certainly, we need to go back to the drawing board with a different approach. When you're getting a new manager, when the new technical crew will be formulated, what are the targets you're giving to these managers? I can remember Coach General was always battling with infusing local players, that is home-based players, and also infusing. Those were the targets given to him. What are the targets are you going to give to a coach? The targets should be straight. You should empower him. You should give him all the power he needs for him to make a decision, not just we get political with this. You need to put in a home-based player. That shouldn't be the target. The target should be qualify Nigeria to major tournaments, win World Cups, win the Nations Cup, make us happy by winning trophy, not make us happy by infusing local-based players. I know it's okay that we want to improve our football, but it's not just by playing in the national team that our football is going to get better. I also know that some Nigerian players are not so good as we think they are. We saw that. The likes of Emmanuel Dennis, that is a big talking point for Watford, and Ademola Lookman. You see these players, they were struggling, and you can see that African football is completely different from foreign football. So what they should do is not just go back to the drawing board, but realign. I mean, take a look at the targets you're giving this manager. Are you giving this manager enough power he needs to make a decision so that if this decision doesn't work, he will, of course, take responsibility for that. I can remember at the AFCON, at this World Cup qualifiers, Augustine Ekwafon said that he invited Ogoye Nazi because he wanted to pacify the rest of the crew. What is the meaning of pacifying the rest of the crew? Just to make everyone okay that he's invited who they wanted him to invite. So give the coaches the empowerment they need, straight up give them their targets, not telling them what to do and how to go about their targets. All right, the target is to win Nations Cup. The target is to qualify and enjoy a major tournament. And it's quite unfortunate that we didn't see that in this year's qualifiers.
Okay, but you also still have other issues that have been raised. I mean, when you talk about the NFF and, you know, the Nigerian football, I mean, with all of that has happened, the fact that Nigeria failed to qualify for the World Cup has got a lot of people saying that we need to pay attention to developing local talent. I mean, let's look at the local leagues that we have in Nigeria, because usually the issue again is always the issue of having which players, and then we have to sort out for, you know, players. And there's also a little bit of, you know, as the reports would have it, that some people, there's some corrupt practices and politics going on with selection of players. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, we also have another issue with the NFF with time and preparation for the game. And so this is because a lot of people say we're facing what we're facing because we did not prepare for this. If it takes 4 years, how much preparation, how much time do we even put into preparation? Having, you know, the players have the connects, you know, the chemistry and all of that. So these are some of the issues that, you know, some football lovers, supporters of the Super Eagles have actually raised. What are your thoughts on this? Preparation time, and also the issue of having, you know, the leaders, like you have mentioned, have a fair play, you know, have a hand in controlling who becomes a player.
Okay, so first off, I'll say football is a game of momentum. Football, you are as good as your last game. And you talk about preparation. These individuals, they've been playing for their respective clubs. Yes, Francis Ozol plays for Ammonia Nicosia. Many players right there, they were playing for their respective clubs. And you're as good as your last game. You're as good as your last performance. We didn't just need to play as a country for these people to be prepared. They had enough preparation. The AFCON just finished in January. I mean, they played together with the same coach as well. We had a promising AFCON before the round of 16, losing out to Tunisia. It's not a matter of preparation. It's a matter of getting your tactics right. I mean, I wasn't so much in support with the tactics of the man, with the players he used. The tactics was okay with a 4-3-3 formation. We were going out for the kill in that second leg, but the players involved in that game and the substitutions he made was not spot on. So it's not about preparation. Absolutely. I don't think it is, because these players, they play week in, week out for their clubs. Emmanuel Dennis is the top star for Watford. Ademola Lookman plays week in, week out. Kelechi Iheanacho comes from the bench most of the time for Leicester City, but he gets to play games. In the midfield, we had Shia Abdullahi coming in the midfield. That was not the very best of substitution.
So I mean, I like to say that, Thomas, I like to say that if you talk about preparation, you can't kick out preparation from the entire process. It's key and it's very important. Now, one of the things that was mentioned, during the game is the fact that if you look at our players, as much as these players very talented, they play, you know, in their different clubs, and these clubs are very prominent, right? But they seem to lack, you know, that chemistry. When they come together, there's no unity in playing, because you would actually see, you know, different players who are coming to show themselves, and so there's no some form of unity, and that's what we're talking about in terms of preparation. How much time do these boys have together to train as the Super Eagles, not play as they're playing for, you know, Man United, or they're playing for Arsenal, playing for Liverpool, and what have you? We're talking about preparation as a Super Eagle.
I'm not doubting the fact that preparation can of course is a factor to great performance. I'm not doubting that. But the Black Stars of Ghana, did they have to prepare? I mean, did they have to? This is the first international winner we are seeing since after the AFCON, and it's just about getting your tactics right. I mean, these players, I understand that there have to be a synergy in a football game. And also, when I talk about tactics, I'm talking about the players you're inviting. You're not just going to invite players because they are big name players for the other club. You're going to invite players that can execute your tactics. You've got to know your players. You've got to know them and how they can play. Even if it was a 5-4, a 4-5-1 formation, you would have still gotten the job done with the right players in the right position. So for me, preparation is just a little bit of a factor, but the tactics and how you approach the game was what really mattered on that day.
All right. Monday, thank you so much, Thomas, for being part of the show this morning. We do appreciate your time, and we look forward to sharing more of your thoughts as we progress.
Thank you, and once again, a happy new month. It was brilliant to be here with you.
All right. And that's the size of our conversation this morning on The Breakfast. We'll definitely return on Monday with interesting conversations and issues surrounding, the Nigerian polity and the space. If you missed out on any part of the conversation, it would be all right to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel as a PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I am Messi Popo. Do have a fantastic Friday.
I'm Justin. You enjoy your weekend.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Event is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. By no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them.
If you no talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 they pay.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
Good morning, I am Jacinta Obiuku. This is the news brief. The Committee for the Defense of Human Rights has condemned the planned reopening of the Lekki toll gate, threatening a protest if the government continues with the plan. They lamented that victims of Lekki massacre have not been adequately compensated on the case of Oluwabamishi Ayowole, who was kidnapped and killed. Counsel to the deceased, Ayo Ademiluyi, appealed to the media to continue to keep the story on the front burner until justice is served.
Kwame Nicholas Anthony Okwe is a survivor of the Lekki massacre. He was shot right in the chest. The bullet penetrated his arteries to the back, and he's just alive today by sheer grace. The Magistrate Court does not have jurisdiction over a case like murder and the rest. They are capital offences. So the proper forum is still the High Court. So there was an end of 4 count charge. 1, rape. 2, the second count is conspiracy to commit felony to wit murder. The third count is sexual intercourse. Then 4 is murder.
We all know that the first main responsibility of every government is the provision of security. When we look at the BRT saga as related to late Mr. Bamishe, we can see clearly that Lagos State government failed woefully in their responsibility in providing security to its citizens and residents. For at least provide a functioning CCTV cameras in the BRT buses.
I was one of the survivor at the Lekki toll gate NSAS protest on the 20th October 2020. Although all the promises the Lagos State government have promised us the victims, they have not fulfilled any. This is where the bullet penetrated.
So it was shot just hold on.
And they remove it at the back, at Lasut.
So show them the back.
This is where they remove
it. They removed it. He's just someone that God does not want to kill.
And they now fix a pipe into my belly in the theater. So that will be bringing out bad water and bad blood.
Are you feeling very well now?
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit well now, by His grace. We are still demanding justice.
Is the Lagos State government telling us that life is not important? Whereas that is number 1 right. According to the Nigerian Constitution, Chapter 4, according to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and even in accordance with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, people's lives have been terminated, and government is not doing anything about it. This issue of Bamishe, Committee for Defense of Human Rights, particularly Lagos State, we shall stop at nothing to ensure that justice is done. In CDHR, Committee for Defense of Human Rights, if there's one word we are very much after, if there's one word we share it so much, and that is the word justice. Concerning the Lekki toll gate, concerning Bamishe, people have lost confidence in the executive.
President Muhammadu Buhari has said that construction of roads is a major boost for the growth of the economy, driving supply value chain and stimulating productivity. Buhari said this at the 7th edition of the African Road Builders Trophy Babakar Ndia inaugural conference 2022 in Abuja with the theme of building roads, building economies. The president, who was represented at the occasion by the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, said the most recent GDP of 3.4% was the biggest in the last 7 years, and it clearly shows that the construction subsector were related to the success of the economy. President Muhammadu Buhari has lauded the Bank of Industry (BOI) for creating over 9 million jobs in the last 7 years, as well as disbursing over 1.24 trillion naira to 4.2 million beneficiaries in micro, small, medium and large enterprises. Speaking at the commissioning of the second tower of the BOI building in Abuja, the president said that the bank has continued to successfully execute its mandate as a policy institution of the federal government, extending single-digit interest rate loans to manufacturers. Commending the management of the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment and BOI for their contributions to the economic development of the country and the well-being of Nigerians. The president approved the insurance of sovereign guarantee to help the bank raise funds in the Eurobond market.
I approved the issuance of a sovereign guarantee to help the bank raise funds in the Eurobond market. I am glad to note that the bank has recently completed the transaction by raising up to 750 million euros from international investors. The proceeds of this Eurobond will be disbursed to large, medium, and small enterprises and women entrepreneurs with bankable projects. It is commendable that the bank sources its own funds for lending based on its investment grade ratings by the rating agencies.
Gunmen have set the headquarters of Newi South local government in Anambra State on fire and also gunned a security man on the premises down. Several buildings, including education office, traditional rulers, meet and chamber, works department, were among the facilities affected. Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo, who visited the scene of the attack alongside the State Commissioner of Police, Echeng, and the State Director of the Department of State Services, condemned the act, describing it as thoughtless and mindless. He questioned what could have warranted the destruction of public properties and assured that the perpetrators will face the full wrath of the law when apprehended. A narrow-gauge train traveling from Lagos to Kano drilled at Ferenroa near Jajayi in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State, killing the train driver in the process. Public Relations Officer of the Northern Regional District of the Nigeria Railways Corporation, NRC, Zaria Abdullahi Alaja, who confirmed the incident, said the driver of the train died during the incident at the cargo train as the cargo train conveying soft drink to Kano. He said the incident happened as a result of vandalization of sleepers and other accessories of rail track in the area. The Kaduna State government has described the social media reports of bandits barricades on the Kaduna-Abuja road as fake. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, who made a denial in a statement, said preliminary operational feedback showed that the fleeing bandits were escaping a military onslaught in an attempt to pass through a narrow corridor around the Kasarame General area of Kaduna-Abuja Road. He assured that the government was working with relevant military and security agencies to address the security challenges in the state. Work has commenced to fix the damaged Abuja-Kaduna rail tracks after the attacks. PlusTV spoke with the MD Nigeria Railway Corporation engineer Fedit Okihira, and he hinted that repairs would take 2 weeks to fix. The coaches would take more time because of the extent of the damage.
44. Okay, we have started work, and we are hoping in 2 weeks' time the train will be back on track. The accident happened in a cutting, by that's about 10 meters below the ground level, and it will limit response to claim the derailed rolling stock. It's not possible to use crane. We have rake cranes, but rake cranes cannot be maneuvered. The cranes it's a 150-ton crane that can lift the coaches and turn them back to where the track is good. But unfortunately, the portion where this incident takes place, the crane cannot maneuver. We are using our prevailing jacks, which will take more time than the crane. As I said earlier, we hope by in 2 weeks' time, the coaches would have been reclaimed and put back on traction while the restored back. It will take time to bring the coaches back because of the bullets and the damage done on the rolling stock. It will take some time to come out, but the other rolling stock that we are not attacked will be put to use.
Meanwhile, the MD of NRC has denied the claims going on social media that 970 people were on board the train. He made it clear that the corporation is not involved in any form of ticket racketeering whatsoever.
Who counted? Bring out that person who said he counted 970 and bring them live on PlusTV. Let us talk. The entire train at maximum will take 840, including standing. And that day was a Monday. Trips to from Abuja to Canada on Monday are not heavy. If it was Friday, Saturday, you can say something like that. We have given authentic figure with printouts. Abuja Kaduna route, there is no way you can cross to the platform without using your ticket. And there is no way you can exit the platform without using your ticket. The not only official but correct, 398 people bought tickets. Those tickets are sold online. And even when you come to the station to buy, it is still online. You can buy by using the web or using the app, or you buy at the station. So 398 people bought tickets, and 362 were validated. By that, they crossed the barrier. We have been making calls because to buy tickets, you must put your phone number. 123 people have responded positively that they are live and ready, and 17 people said they bought tickets for their sibling, which they have not heard from. I've also received calls from family who said the bandits have used their sibling or relation to call them, to ask them to go and meet the government to provide money. We have received 3 of such.
As Nigerians continue to ponder over the Abuja-Kaduna train attack, President Muhammadu Buhari has been claimed called upon not to leave any stone unturned in the efforts to rescue the helpless victims taken away as hostages by the terrorists. The national chairman of the Action Democratic Party, Engineer Yabagi Sani, made this call while addressing a World Press conference in Lagos.
I'm not saying you come. Hey, get me.
Blood-chilling news of the bombing, killings, kidnappings and robberies look to have become a daily occurrence in Nigeria. Gathered here are members of the Action Democratic Party, ADP, that wants the President Buhari-led government to live above the rhetorics of winning the war against insurgency.
The bombardment and the assault on the train last Monday occurred barely 1 week after a brazen daylight invasion of the Kaduna International Airport by another horde of highly armed terrorists. 2 people were officially reported killed and flight operations disrupted as a result. Among the many puzzles arising from the attack on the Kaduna Airport include how was it possible for the over 200 heavily armed terrorists who rode on motorbikes to have been able to gain access to the vicinity of the airport and to the tarmac with ease.
The assault on the Kaduna-bound train has come barely 1 week after a brazen daylight invasion of the Kaduna International Airport by another horde of terrorists.
The Action Democratic Party is calling on President Buhari to, for once, demonstrate dynamic leadership, care, and sensitivity to the feelings of citizens by ensuring that heads are made to roll. Those that must be held accountable include the security chiefs who have manifested gross incompetence, lack of vision, diligence, and dereliction of duty, and the Minister of Transportation whose incapacities have severally manifested in the different departments under his purview.
ADP wants the president to pay full compensation to families of victims of the train attack. From Lagos, Love Ikuku Oyedoku, Plus TV News.
Nigeria and the neighboring Niger Republic have agreed to cement the ties that exist among them in the areas of security and economic development. The two leaders made their intention known when President Muhammadu Buhari received his Nigerian counterparts, President Mohamed Bazoum at Presidential Villa Abuja on a state visit. President Mohamed Bazoum inspected a guard of honor mounted by men of the Presidential Guards Brigade, after which the two leaders went into a closed session where they discussed bilateral issues and later had lunch. The visitors also reiterated his appreciation for Nigeria's decision to construct a railway linking Nigeria and Niger through Kano, Katsina, and Maradi.
JTF, the Multinational Joint Task Force, is a model initiated by countries that are facing the same kind of security challenges. And we want to replicate this kind of model in countries of the Sahel, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and so on, replicate this kind of model. Why? Because this model has allowed us in the Lake Chad Basin region to address a common threat. And we are very much satisfied with the situation because it has allowed us to contain it, and we want to replicate same in other places. Evidently, if Nigeria accepts to do the same in the axis northwest to fight banditry, we will gladly accept, because as you know, Nigeria almost entirely funded the MNJTF operations. And if Nigeria decides to do the same in northwest axis, we'll be very happy, because that means it will reduce the burden, the economic and financial burden of the fight against this bandit.
Other parts of Africa, People on the streets of the Tunisian capital have expressed their distrust in the elected representatives a day after the president dissolved parliament and the blow to the North African country's young democracy. President Kais Saied had announced the decision to dissolve parliament in a televised address after lawmakers led by the opposition Islamist party held a virtual session seeking to annul moves by the leader last year to assume sweeping powers. Among those moves, Said suspended the activities of parliament, which has not officially convened since July. Outside Africa now, Ukraine's ambassador to Japan, Sergei Kurensky, has said that Ukraine will soon be able to better protect its skies and cities from Russian attacks because it expects super modern military equipment from the United States and Britain. Kurensky told a news conference that from next week, Japan would begin to receive Ukrainian refugees who are now in Poland.
They still have superiority in air force, in airplanes and missiles, and we expect those days we begin to receive super modern equipment from United States, and soon it will be from Britain, to protect our skies, our cities against those this kind of attack. When they fire cruise missiles from long distance, we cannot get to the launch place. We have to intercept them. That's why we need this modern equipment. Next week we expect a new wave of those Ukrainians who are now in Poland and would like to go to Japan. They will come, and we expect that government of Japan, I know that different agencies are working now on their clear and simple procedure how to receive those people, how to support them.
And on business news, the domestic bourse again extended its positive trading as the oil share index advanced by 61 points or 0.1% to close at 46.965.48 against 46.904.48 recorded on Wednesday. The market capitalization also inched higher by 32.87 billion or 0.1% to close at 25.311 trillion from 25.279 trillion naira on Wednesday, which consequently means the month-to-date loss moderated to 0.09%, while the year-to-date gain increased by 10%. The market gain was driven by price appreciation in large and medium capitalized stock, amongst which are MTN Nigeria, First Bank of Nigeria Holdings, FBNH, Okuma Oil, and the Fidelity Bank. The Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria, ALTON, says it may be forced to commence action with its regulators if the government fails to intervene over the shutting down of facilities in Kogi State. Chairman of ALTON, Engineer Gbenga Adebayo, dropped the hint while briefing newsmen in Lagos. Justin Akadonye has more.
The shutting down of the facilities in Kogi State is coming as a result of disputes arising from unusual taxes and levies demanded by the State Internal Revenue Service. The consequence of this is that 70 sites have been disconnected. While operators fear they will not be able to provide support for the citizenry, they say it may also have a huge toll on the overall economy.
So it's not a threat to shutting down network site, and please do not misquote me, but we will be left with no option than to seek government intervention at higher levels to do whatever it is possible to compel government of Kogi State and that of FCDA to do something. And I think this is a matter of important and significant concern to government. It's unfortunate that the government at the subnational level will flip the switch on the entire nation, and we all will fold our arms and say it is their problem and it is not our problem. Because the implication is that if your neighbor is doing something wrong, you don't call him to order. The day there are consequences on his action, you also will feel it.
Present challenges, including the skyrocketed cost of diesel, take center stage. Although Alton is not hammering on raising the rates, they feel an intervention from government is not too much to ask. Other bottlenecks with the FCT administration and security worry the operators.
All planning, all network planning, operational expenses that we have planned, projected for the year, is based on the projection that diesel will cost at 200 and something naira per litre. Today it has gone to several multiples, and you know the implication of that. One is that because of the built infrastructure in Abuja, no individual operator can dig in Abuja to lay fiber. So FCT had their own underground fiber, their own underground ducts, which our member leases to deploy services. Because of the revenue attraction of that infrastructure, when new government in Abuja come, they change the numbers. It is necessary if you actually have terrorist attack, insurance will call it force majeure, riot and civil act. Insurance for those kind of things are very expensive.
Alton reiterated its commitment to work with government and security agencies at all levels, while assuring that services will not be disrupted. Justin Akadonye, PlusTV News.
On the sports news now, second seed Iga Swiatek will face Naomi Osaka for the Miami Open title after the pole defeated American Jessica Pegula in Thursday's semi-finals. After Japan's Osaka battled past Belinda Bencic 4-6, 6-3, 6-4 earlier in the day, Swiatek, who will become world number one on Monday, claimed her 16th straight win with a 6-2, 7-5 victory over Pegula to reach a third straight WTA 1000 final. Swiatek snailed through the opening set but had to fight back from an early breakdown in the second. She squandered 2 match points at 5-4 before stealing victory 2 games later. And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTvAfrica on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I am Jacinta Obiuku. Thanks for watching.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Right, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity. No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV. Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Africa.